You ever watch someone walk away thinking they won? They strut off, puffed up, chest high, convinced they left you in the dirt, convinced they outsmarted you, outplayed you. And you're just supposed to sit there licking your wounds, right? Huh. But let me tell you something, no one really gets away. Not forever, not from the suffering. It follows them like a shadow, clinging to their heels, whispering in their ears when the world goes quiet. See, people think they can hurt you and just walk off into the sunset. They believe the pain they cause is something they can leave behind. That's cute. That's really, really cute. But suffering, it's patient. It doesn't need to rush. It knows the right time to strike. And oh, when it does, it doesn't tap you on the shoulder. It slams into you like a truck with no brakes. You ever seen a man break in silence? Not with screams, not with tears, but with that hollow, empty look. Like he finally realized he's nothing but a walking corpse. Yeah, that's the moment suffering catches up. Because the thing about pain is, it doesn't disappear. No, no, no. It just changes form. You dodge it today, it finds you tomorrow. You laugh at it now, it drags you into the dirt later. And the best part? The people who think they got away, they never see it coming. Let's talk about them. The ones who used you, betrayed you, threw you away like an old piece of trash. The ones who thought their actions didn't come with a price. You see, people like that, they think life owes them a happy ending. They believe they can cut throats, break hearts, and still sleep soundly at night. But there's something they forget. Consequences don't have a bedtime. You ever heard the saying, "The night is darkest just before the dawn"? Huh, cute. But let me teach you a better one. The night is darkest when the past comes knocking. And oh, does it knock hard. It doesn't care how high they climbed, how much they gained, or how many lies they told themselves. The past, their past, will rip them apart from the inside. People think pain is just about broken bones and bruises. Nah, that's the easy stuff. The real pain? It's the kind that creeps in at 3 a.m. when the silence is too loud and the memories start screaming. It's the weight of every mistake, every face they abandoned, every soul they crushed. And let me tell you, that kind of suffering, it doesn't fade, it festers, it spreads like a poison, like a disease, eating away at them until there's nothing left but regret and the echoes of their own cruelty. You ever wonder why the worst people are the ones who pretend to be the happiest? You ever seen those big fake smiles, those loud, empty laughs? You think that's real? No, no, that's a mask. A desperate, pathetic little mask hiding the rot underneath. Because deep down they know what they've done, and it's eating them alive. But you, oh, you're still standing. You're still breathing. And that's what they can't stand. See, they wanted to break you, destroy you, turn you into nothing. But here you are, still here. And that drives them insane. Let me give you a little secret about people. They don't regret hurting you. They regret that you survived it. They don't sit there feeling bad about what they did. No, no, no. They get angry when they see you, still pushing forward, still fighting, still refusing to kneel. Because in their mind, you were supposed to stay down. So, let them think they got away. Let them walk away, laughing, convinced that they won. Because life has a funny way of flipping the script. And when the suffering catches up, it won't knock politely. It'll tear the door off the hinges. And you won't need to do a damn thing. You just keep walking forward. You just keep rising. Because the truth, the ones who hurt you are already running. They just don't know it yet. They thought they got away. Ha! That's the funniest lie they tell themselves. People love to think they can outrun their past, bury their sins, move on like nothing ever happened. But let me tell you something. You don't escape the damage you cause. You don't get to hurt people and walk away untouched. The pain you leave behind, it always finds a way back to you. Some people call it karma. Some call it justice. But I like to call it the slow poison of consequence. You see, it doesn't kill fast. It takes its time, seeping into their lives, creeping under their skin, wrapping around their throats like an invisible noose. They won't feel it at first. No, 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 they'll laugh, they'll celebrate, they'll convince themselves they won. But then the cracks start to show. Maybe it starts small. A little paranoia, a whisper in the back of their mind telling them someone, somewhere, remembers what they did. Maybe they start losing sleep, tossing and turning, wondering if one day the tables will turn. And they will. Oh, they always do. Because the thing about power, the thing about getting away with something, it's never permanent. You see, people love to believe in happy endings. They think that if they hurt you and move on fast enough, life will let them keep their stolen peace. But there's a rule they forget. A rule the universe never breaks. Nothing stolen ever stays. Not peace, not love, not respect, not even freedom. The moment they took what wasn't theirs, they signed the contract for their own suffering. And the best part? It won't even come from you. That's the real tragedy, you know? They expect revenge to come from your hands, from your rage, from your fire. But you're not the executioner. No, no. Life is. And it doesn't need knives or guns or violence. It doesn't need you to lift a finger. Life has its own way of settling debts. And it's far more cruel than anything you could dream up. See? The people who hurt you? They're running. Always running. From themselves, from the truth, from the weight of their own actions. And the faster they run, the harder they fall. Maybe it'll be loneliness that gets them, because people like that. They don't keep love. They don't keep real friendships, real connections, real loyalty. They trade it all for short-term power, for their ego, for their pride. And before they know it, they're surrounded by shadows, by ghosts of the people they stepped on, by the silence of a world that's moved on without them. Or maybe it's guilt. Oh, that's a slow killer. It starts as a whisper, then a murmur, then a roar. They'll tell themselves it doesn't matter. They'll drown it out with distractions, noise, people, pleasure. Anything to keep the voice at bay. But at night, when the world quiets down, that's when it comes for them. That's when they see the faces of the ones they betrayed. That's when they realize the past isn't behind them. It's inside them, and it's eating them alive. Or maybe, just maybe, it's something worse. Maybe they get everything they ever wanted. Wealth, status, power. And then they realize it means nothing. Because deep down, they know they don't deserve any of it. And that feeling, that emptiness, that's worse than any punishment. Because there's nothing more terrifying than getting everything you ever wanted and still feeling like you have nothing at all. You ever notice how the people who hurt others the most are the ones who can't stand being alone? They always need a crowd, an audience, a distraction. Because when they're alone, that's when the mask slips. That's when they see themselves for what they really are, empty. All that power, all that control, all that arrogance. And yet, they still need noise to drown out their own thoughts. Because the second the silence settles in, the suffering begins. And that's the irony, isn't it? They thought they left you behind, thought they destroyed you, thought they ended you. But in reality, you're the only thing they can't escape. You live in their mind, rent-free. Every success they have feels hollow because deep down, they know what it costs them. Every victory feels cheap because they know they didn't win fair. Every time they smile, it's forced because the truth is gnawing at their bones. And you survived. That's the part they hate the most. They wanted to break you, to see you crawl, to hear you beg. But you didn't. You walked through the fire, through the storm, through the agony, and you're still here, standing, breathing, moving forward. And that burns them more than anything else ever could. See, the thing about suffering is, it's not about who feels it first. It's about who feels it last. And the ones who thought they got away, they always feel it last. When they least expect it. When they're at their peak. When they think they're safe. That's when it hits. That's when the weight of everything they did comes crashing down. And there's no escape. No way out. No one left to save them. So let them run. Let them celebrate. Let them believe the story's over. Because the best part? The suffering hasn't even started yet. Oh, they thought they got away. That's what makes it so delicious. They think time erases the damage they've done, that distance buries the truth. But time is not mercy. Time is the slow knife, the unrelenting tide, the thing that watches, waits, and when the moment is right, strikes where it hurts the most. And oh, it does hurt. Because the weight of what they did doesn't vanish. It lingers, it festers, it rots them from the inside out. They might not see it today, might not feel it tomorrow, but the cracks, they're already there. And sooner or later, the whole foundation comes crumbling down. You ever notice how some people get everything they ever wanted, yet they still look miserable? Why is that? Why do they sit in their big houses, surrounded by everything they sacrificed others for, and still feel empty? Because their soul is starving. They spent their whole life stepping on people, crushing hearts, laughing at pain, thinking they were above it all, only to wake up one day and realize they have nothing real left. Nothing that matters. No loyalty, no love, no peace. And that is a fate worse than any revenge you could ever plan. Because revenge, that's quick, that's easy. But suffering is patient. It seeps into their bones, makes a home in their chest, whispers in their ears when the lights go out. They might silence it for a while, drown it in distractions, in fake smiles and temporary pleasures. But no amount of noise can block out the truth forever. And the truth is this: they were never as untouchable as they thought. Oh, and they'll pretend. Oh, how they'll pretend. They'll laugh louder, live bigger, act like nothing can touch them. But watch closely. Watch their eyes when no one's looking. Watch the way their hands shake when they think no one sees. Because deep down, they know. They know the ghosts are coming. They know the suffering is waiting. They know their time is running out. And that fear, that's the real punishment. Not knowing when, not knowing how, just knowing that eventually they will have to face what they've done. And it won't be you who delivers it. No, that's the part they never understand. You don't have to do a damn thing. You just have to keep moving forward, keep breathing, keep rising, keep existing. Because your survival, that's the wound they can't heal. That's the nightmare they can't escape. You were supposed to stay broken. You were supposed to disappear. But here you are, stronger, smarter, colder. And every breath you take, that's another knife in their heart. They won't admit it, of course. People like that, they never do. They'll act like they don't care, like nothing gets to them. But the truth is in their sleepless nights. It's in the way they overcompensate, the way they need constant validation, the way they surround themselves with noise, because silence terrifies them. Silence is where the suffering speaks. And when it speaks, it doesn't whisper, it roars. So let them think they got away. Let them believe the past is behind them. Because the funny thing about the past, it's never behind. It's always right there, breathing down their neck, waiting for the right moment to make them look back. And when they do, oh, when they do, it won't be you staring back at them. It'll be everything they tried to forget. And that's the moment they'll realize no one ever really gets away. They thought they got away, but getting away isn't about running. It's not about escaping. No. See, most people don't understand how pain really works. They think it's something you feel in the moment, like a knife wound, a slap, a scar you can cover up. But that's the cheap kind of pain, the surface level stuff. Real pain doesn't hit you when you expect it. It doesn't come in the middle of the fight. No, it comes later. Quietly, slowly. When the adrenaline fades, when the distractions run out, when there's nothing left but the weight of everything you've done. And that's the part they never see coming, because they walk away thinking they won. They pat themselves on the back, they laugh, they move on, convinced that what they did to you was just another chapter in their story, one they'll never have to reread. But life doesn't work that way. You can turn the page, you can close the book, but the words don't disappear. They stay imprinted, burned into the paper, waiting for the day you have no choice but to open it again. And when that day comes, oh, it's never on their terms. That's the thing about people who destroy others for their own gain. They never think long term. They're too caught up in the thrill of the moment, the rush of power, the temporary satisfaction of getting their way. But power is fragile. It cracks. It crumbles. And the higher they climb, the harder the fall. And that fall, oh, it's never immediate. No, life lets them enjoy their illusion of victory first, gives them enough rope to feel invincible, to believe they've outsmarted the consequences. And just when they start to feel comfortable, that's when the ground starts to crack beneath them. At first, it's just whispers, a little paranoia, a creeping doubt in the back of their mind. Maybe they start seeing your face in a crowd. Maybe they start hearing their own words echoing back at them in the dead of night. It's nothing, they tell themselves. Just ghosts. Just the past trying to crawl back up. But the thing about ghosts, they don't stay buried. Then it gets worse. The people they trusted start to drift away. The power they thought was theirs alone starts slipping through their fingers. Opportunities dry up. Relationships sour. The world they built starts turning against them. And they don't understand why. Because they thought they got away. But that's the lie, isn't it? The one They tell themselves over and over again, hoping it'll make it true, that the past doesn't matter, that actions don't have consequences, that they can rewrite the story however they want. But the past is not ink on paper. It's carved in stone. And no matter how hard they try to erase it, to rewrite the narrative, the truth remains. And the truth has patience. Oh, they'll fight it. They'll push back, grasp at whatever control they still have. Maybe they'll try to convince themselves they did the right thing. Maybe they'll justify it, twist the memory, turn themselves into the hero of their own story. But the cracks keep spreading, and the harder they try to hold it together, the faster it falls apart. And then one day they wake up and realize they have nothing left. Not really. Because everything they built, everything they sacrificed others for, wasn't real. The friends, fake. The love, conditional. The power, temporary. And the worst part? They did it to themselves. That's the suffering they never see coming. Not the kind you can inflict with revenge. Not the kind you can deliver with a single righteous act. The worst suffering is the one they bring upon themselves. The slow, creeping realization that they are alone. That the world has moved on without them. That they spent their entire life taking and destroying, only to end up with nothing worth keeping. And you don't even have to watch. You don't have to be there when it happens, because it will happen. It always happens. That's the nature of life, the unbreakable law. What you give, you receive. What you take, you pay for. What you destroy, you eventually become. So let them think they got away. Let them laugh. Let them celebrate. Let them bask in their hollow victories. Because the suffering hasn't even begun. They thought they got away. That's the thing about people like them. They think the damage they leave behind is just temporary, like a mess someone else will clean up, like they can just walk away from the wreckage, and time will erase the evidence. But that's not how this game works. Pain is not something you escape. It's something you borrow. And the debt always comes due. You ever notice how the worst people always seem to be running? Always moving, always searching, always needing something new to fill the void? It's because they're haunted. They don't have peace. Not real peace. That's why they need distractions, need noise, need people who tell them what they want to hear. Because silence is the enemy. Silence is where the past speaks, where regret whispers, where the truth, their truth, reminds them of what they really are. And that truth, it's ugly. See, people think guilt is some dramatic movie-like moment. Someone falling to their knees, crying, begging for forgiveness. But real guilt, Real guilt is something else. It's rotting from the inside. It's lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of every face they used, every promise they broke, every person they crushed under their selfishness. And it doesn't scream. It whispers. It lingers. It makes a home inside them, settles into their bones, and no matter how fast they run, no matter how many fake smiles they wear, it's always there. They thought they could move on. They thought what they did to you, what they did to everyone, was just part of the game. They thought if they left it in the past, it would stay there. But the past doesn't work like that. The past is not some old chapter in a book you never have to read again. The past follows. The past grows. The past becomes the future. And oh, the future is cruel, because it doesn't hit them right away. That would be too easy. Life lets them think they've won first, lets them enjoy their false sense of security, lets them build a kingdom on stolen ground, and then it starts taking it all back. First, it's the little things. A deal falls through. A friendship cracks. A door that used to be open suddenly shuts. They shrug it off, tell themselves it's just bad luck. But bad luck has a way of becoming a pattern. And patterns reveal the truth. And then one day they realize something. They have everything they ever wanted, and yet they feel nothing. No joy, no peace, no real satisfaction. Because deep down, they know it wasn't earned. It was stolen. It was built on lies, on betrayal, on stepping over people who actually mattered. And now they're trapped in it. Trapped in a world of their own making, surrounded by things that should make them happy, but don't. That's the punishment they never saw coming. Not some grand moment of revenge, not some dramatic fall from grace. No, something much worse. Emptiness. The realization that they got everything they wanted, and somehow they still lost. Because the one thing they can't outrun, the one thing they can't replace, the one thing they will never get back is the version of themselves that could still feel something real. Oh, they'll try. They'll chase distractions, chase thrills, try to fill the void with more. But more is never enough. Because once you lose your soul, once you throw away everything good for the sake of power, of control, of selfishness, you don't get it back. And that's what destroys them. Not fire, not fury, but the slow, unbearable weight of knowing they can never undo what they've done. And you don't have to do a thing. That's the beauty of it. That's the irony. They thought they destroyed you, thought they could walk away untouched, thought they were above the consequences. But you survived. You got stronger, you moved forward, and every step you take, every breath, every moment you continue without them, that's another knife in their heart. Because in the end, the ones who tried to break you, they never really got away. They just postponed their suffering. And when it finally catches up, it's going to be the only thing they have left.